which is why Marty Sharp's been waiting patiently here all day.
Chairman, I want the record to show that your efficiency was such that at 20 past 2 you got round to considering the minutes.
Right. So the meeting of the Wednesday, the 30th of April, for accuracy, page 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, page 7, page 8, 9, 10, page 11, page 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 and 21. Someone happy to move that as a true and correct record, please? Councillor Scott. We have a seconder. Councillor Barker, was that a set?
Yeah.
Sorry, I saw your hand come up. That's fine. I'll put that motion in. All those in favour, please say aye. Contrary, no. Carried. Thank you. Matters arising from those minutes. Councillor Dick.
Mr. Chairman, for completeness, could you add to my other interests in the declaration of interest, treasurer?
Can we deal with that in the agenda item, perhaps?
What agenda item?
Agenda item 10, Register of Members' Interests.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
Okay. Thank you. Other matters arising. Councillor Scott, you have a matter arising?
And to raise a matter that I queried on the register, but I will raise that during the agenda item on that, just to be quite clear. However, I would like to refer to page 14, 7.2, on the draft decisions of the plan change and the staff update on that. Mr. Chairman, I would like to ask the staff, could they, because there seems to be an amazing range of opinion amongst the councillors as to what they can and can do from a council perspective once a plan has been proposed. Whatever the process, could the staff sort of outline for us what happens and what the staff's involvement is from then, even through a conventional one, right through to an Environment Court hearing?
Through you, Mr. Chair. I will talk about then what happens during a conventional plan change, and by that I mean where it is heard by the council or a council-appointed committee. In other words, the submissions are heard on that. And then I'll perhaps, deal with what you're getting at in relation to the Board of Inquiry. Once a plan change has been notified by the council, it goes out for public submission, and from then on, the staff are tasked with implementing processing the plan change that the council has adopted for public notification. So the staff go through the process of receiving submissions and summarising those and notifying them for further submissions, and then importantly writes recommendations on those, on the submissions that have been received in light of where it believes that the intent of the plan change is. Those are then packaged up, the submissions, the further submissions and the officer's report and recommendations, and given to that final decision-making body, which could be the council or it could be an independent panel appointed by council, but here it has always been to date the council, and that is done without reference back to the council because they are ultimately the decision maker, and the council staff are quite clear have been given quite clear instructions on the approach that has to be taken.
When you said refer back to the council, it's the council panel, not the full council.
Yep. Yeah. So in relation to the Board of Inquiry, and I know that there's been some commentary publicly about the submission that has been gone back to council on the draft decision. Beg your pardon, has gone from council to the Board of Inquiry on the draft decision. and a question about why that was not referred back to the council. From a technical point of view, that council adopted an approach to Plan Change 6 prior to its notification last year. It was then notified. It was then submissions closed on that. And then it was referred to the Board of Inquiry. And at that point, the staff was tasked with implementing the endorsed approach and has continued to do that right up to the point of final decision. Now, as Councillor Barker has questioned, quite rightly, any decision made beyond the final decision of the board should quite rightly come back to this council for further instruction and guidance and or telling us no, we've gone far enough, whatever that may be. But up to the point where the final decision is issued, the staff are tasked by council with implementing or taking the process through, subject to the approach that's been endorsed by council as the applicant for the plan change.
No other matters arising? We're not here. We're not debating in matters arising. But if you have a subsequent question, Councillor Barker.
I don't have a question. I have a point because I just don't agree entirely with that.
Well, that's your view, and we can discuss that later when you shout for me, perhaps. Okay. No other matters arising? Pardon me? No other matters arising? Thank you. Okay, follow up from previous council meetings.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There are two, and they are both covered by the email that's attached to them. One is around clarification around the threshold for declaration of shareholdings and clarification of non-pecuniary interest. And the other one related to a question that arose during the item on fixing the common seal about how the freeholding of leasehold properties affects ACC cash flow payments. So they're both covered by that, if there are any questions of those.
Okay. Happy to move the report, Councillor Scott. Been a long day. Councillor Pipe, second. Thank you. All those in favour, please say aye. Contrary, no. Carried. Okay, item call for minor items not on the agenda. Mr. Mohi, you had...
Just a small ones, the Māori members of the Regional Planning Committee meeting with the commissioners for the amalgamation. And He Tōtaki Tini, Treaty Clayton.
Yeah, thank you. Commissioner. Okay. Other Councillor Barker.
Business will stay.
Very good. Excuse me. Any other Councillor Scott? Thank you. Okay, let's move on to item 9, affixing the common seal. Any questions for Mr. Drury? I have one. I'm waiting for others, but which there appears to be none. The sales seem to be ticking along quite nicely, don't they?
Yes, they do, Mr. Chairman. Interest rates are still low. I think we realise that they are on their way up, so I can only think that a number of people are getting in before interest rates start to peg up, and values.
Further questions? Someone happy to move that we accept that report? Councillor Scott. Seconder. Thank you, Councillor Barker. Put that motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Contrary, no. Carried. Register of members.